Hey, it's Chris, and it's hard to believe, but it's been 650 rides since Michelle and I got our Peloton bike. It's also been 17 months. I have done 377 rides, and she's done 273. So after all that time, miles, and sweat, how well has the Peloton bike held up? Let's answer that in today's video. 17 months is a pretty good amount of time, and a lot of miles have been put on this bike. The first real issue that I had was about 5 to 6 months after we bought the bike, and that's the fact that the pedals, the ones that actually come with the bike, one of them broke. Now, part of that could be the fact that I'm usually a little, that's what I'm looking for, amped up after doing a Peloton ride. So I've got a lot of energy, some caffeine, because I usually have a cup of coffee before I start early in the morning at 5 a.m. I'm usually amped up. So whenever I'm done with the ride, I usually will kind of unclick my left pedal somewhat aggressively. Well, that ended up breaking the pedal. So the bike was still under warranty because you do get a 1 year limited warranty, but for stuff like that, I emailed Peloton support, and about 3 days later, it was pretty fast, believe it or not, I got new pedals in the mail for free. So I hooked them up, and then they've been working fine ever since. I did do a little research to find the exact ones that are on the bike, and they do have them for $60 in the accessories section of the One Peloton website. So I bought an extra pair just so we weren't down that 3 days, because obviously, based on the shirt, the bike, all the other swag I normally wear in these videos, we love our Peloton bike, so we don't like being down really too many days. So that was really the first issue. Had it fixed, haven't had any issues since. The next issue really only happened about a month ago. So this is 16 months into owning the bike. And I don't know if I'll really even call it an issue. I think it was that I just wasn't doing the monthly kind of maintenance that Peloton recommends. So the front handlebars there, the ones that you hold on to, those started to become loose. So you do a lot of kind of movements where you're back and forth, and especially on the groove rides, and they were starting to get loose. And you know, when something starts moving like that, it's going to get worse and worse, and then it's going to break. So I got out my bike multi-tool with the little different wrenches and tightened up all the nuts on the bike. It's actually recommended you do that every month anyway. So that was the other issue that I had. Talk about the condition of the bike itself. So the first thing that I noticed when I was wiping it down, because the bike was starting to get kind of rusty, is that some of the screws, and they're just used to hold the belt protector that protects the actual belt that you spin, those have started to rust. So it's almost kind of like a joke in the Peloton community, like if you go on Facebook or you look at some comments on Instagram and stuff like that of Peloton riders, of how much you'll sweat when you do this. And I mean, the bike will be covered in sweat, underneath will be covered in sweat. So it's a lot of moisture that gets on the bike itself. So it's recommended after every ride. It's actually official daily maintenance of the bike after a ride is to wipe it down. So you can use some sanitizing wipes like I use. Those are actually one of the things that Peloton recommends. But then you should dry off the bike after you're done. Now, I normally only dry off the screen. And the reason why I do that is usually my wife will come ride the bike right after me, and if you get the screen wet, I mean, it's a touch screen like your phone, and it doesn't want to work. So usually I'll wipe it down with the hand sanitizer, wipe down all the stuff I touch, the adjustments for the up and down on the seat, the buttons on the back, the knob that you use to turn for resistance, and then the handlebars, especially the middle handlebar, because I'll usually put a towel there as I work out, and I want to keep germs from getting on that towel because I'm always wiping my face. So I'll wipe all that down, and normally I don't dry any of it off except that screen because it won't work. So then my wife's trying to get on the bike and try to get to work, and then it won't. So that's really the only thing I've been wiping down. So part of that rust that is on there, that little screw, is probably me. So I'm just going to be a little more diligent when it comes to wiping it down. There is some recommended maintenance that I've mentioned some of it earlier. The first is wiping it down after every ride. The other thing is to tighten the seat the handlebars, pedals, and cleats monthly. And this is officially the guidance from Peloton. So I haven't really been doing that. The cleats on my shoes and they just get loose after a while, and that kind of annoys me enough that I've had to just, let me go tighten these things up. So that's kind of been self-correcting. The pedals are the same thing, they just got a little loose, so I had to tighten those. Handlebars is recently, I mean, it took 15 months for that to happen, and then the seat, I've had any issues yet. But it is recommended you do that every month. Although the bike is holding up really well. We've had no major issues, just normal stuff you would get from some type of mechanical thing that you're riding and putting a lot of time and stress on. We still love the bike. We're a Peloton first fitness family, so that's the first thing we do. First thing I do in the morning, ride the Peloton, and then I'll go do some dumbbell training with some weights after riding the Peloton, but I'll always start off with that Peloton to really get the blood flowing. Those have kind of been my experiences over the past 17 months. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and put them down in the comments section down below in the video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit like. And if you want to see more stuff like this on the Peloton and how you can use technology to empower your life, whether it's through fitness or in other ways, go ahead and hit subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.